Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Soundbites. I'm your host, Veronica, and I am thrilled to be back with you guys. I know everyone's wrapping up vacations and they're getting all of their fun summer stuff in. And now we are back at it and preparing for what's next. And we are always here to talk about visibility and how that's next for you, whether in your business, traditional or entrepreneur business, online business, and all the fun projects you have going on. So here at Saturday Soundbites, we talk about visibility strategy, how it relates to advertising, marketing, public relations, branding, networking, growth and development, all those fun things that really help drive your business and your success. So if you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We want to make sure you get alerts every time we have another episode available for you. And if you are watching on Facebook, please give us comments because we want to be able to engage with you and answer any questions you might have. And if you're watching on the replay, #replay. So we are ready to go ahead and get started. I have got an amazing guest for you. One you might recognize. She has been on Saturday Soundbites before, but she has completely transformed her business. And I wanted to bring her on so we can talk about what that transformation looked like, how moving into her next thing was really brought on by her personal growth and her visibility growth. And so with that, I'm going to ask AmyLee Westervelt to join us on the show.
Hello, Veronica. So glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. And AmyLee, share with our audience, for those of audience that aren't familiar with you and your work, tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll dive into the transition and your new amazing products. Because if you notice there, I changed AmyLee Westervelt, author and dream design coach.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is AmyLee Westervelt. I am the dream design coach, and I am now the author of a children's book. And although I can't say it's a bestseller yet because it isn't even out yet, I do think that this book has the ability to become a bestseller. So I'm going to say future bestseller. And so I help mostly predominantly female entrepreneurs figure out what they really want, tap into their divine intuition to find out what they truly desire so they can manifest it and build their dream lives and businesses. And I have helped thousands of entrepreneurs do that. And I have a Facebook group, and so that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom of 5. My oldest is 9. My youngest is 1. Got a whole house full of fur babies, and we reside right outside of Savannah, Georgia. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Awesome. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the entrepreneur space and dream design coach, explain a little bit about when you mention helping you tap into your divine, what does that mean? And for those of us who maybe come from a brick and mortar corporate background, how does that translate? And why do I want to learn about tapping into my dreams?
That's such a good question, Veronica. And I love that you asked it, because it really comes down to the fact that in society today, we tend to be very tapped into what other people think we should have, or, what the American dream is, or, what people like us do. And so we tend to live lives pretty much by default. What that ends up happening is that we go hard for some kind of goal or some kind of end result, and we get there and we're left unfulfilled, or we feel like we really don't have the momentum to get there, and we don't even get there. So what I do is I help people tap into what it is they truly want and what they truly desire, and then make a plan for what that looks like. So then they can come back and fill in all the steps, because if you know exactly where you're going, well, then it's just a question of planning the route. The destination forces the path. So what I do is I really help people get clear on the destination.
I love it. And it's so true. And how have you been able to, you say you've got a house full of people, you've got fur babies, we've been in a global pandemic, you've been in your house for probably a year and a half solid. How have you grown a business with all that happening? And how did you develop into this master coach that people seek out all the time?
That's another great question. So I think the work that I do, it's very much energetic, and it's not so much concerned with being near a person as it is being tapped into their energy. So that being said, I've always been an online coach, even before the pandemic happened. That's the modality that I enjoy. I happen to be an introvert, so it's a great way for me to be able to put myself out there, but also temper my energetic contribution, and make sure that, I keep my boundaries up, which is something that we all have to do. And so that being said, I think that it's really been, I think that the pandemic has kind of made it more obvious that people like us are out there, but we've been doing this for a while. There's a lot of people that have been doing this, especially, my husband was in the military for a long time. So online work has always been something that was constant and something that I knew that no matter where we got stationed, we could do. So it's just been something that I've been fortunate enough to be able to continue. Yeah.
That's and for a lot of people, it was a huge shift in how to do business,
Mhm.
and you were able to come alongside and give some strategies and techniques.
Yeah.
And how did you move outside of the traditional Facebook model? You've clearly grown your business. I mean, you've just exploded since the pandemic. How did you do it other than your Facebook group and maybe some other platforms you were already using?
Yeah. So at the end of last year, I was introduced to Clubhouse, which is an online audio only app. And it was like beta when I started it, but it's kind of just like, I think it just came out of regular beta now. It was a really great opportunity for me to get on there and be able to speak and meet with people from all over the world. And again, still have that energetic connection. In fact, I found that it was a really good modality because sometimes when, energetically, you don't necessarily feel like getting up and getting dressed, you could hop in the shower 15 minutes before, a show and be in a bathrobe and sit in your bed and do a whole show. And so that was really good. And I ended up meeting a lot of people over there, getting a lot of clients and, really increasing my brand awareness and also getting a lot of clarity around my branding because Clubhouse forces you to listen. So I did a lot more listening. I learned how to be a much better listener just being on Clubhouse. And I would just, hang on every word that some of these people would say. So now I feel like I have a much more robust understanding of who my ideal client is and the things they struggle with because I've been fortunate enough to hear it come out of their own mouths.
That's so true. And I think for those of us who have spent some time in Clubhouse, the listening improvement is probably the one that's been most evident. At least it is for me, especially for someone who is looking for stories, because I'm a storyteller. So I go and I pick, and people really feel comfortable and on this platform sharing their stories. And at the end of the day, that's all branding and visibility is. You touched on it a little bit. You said you got more clear on your branding. How did that manifest? And what are some of the results of your maybe refined branding? Because I've seen a sneak peek of it. And I know other people may have noticed some changes in your colors, but tell us a little bit about that rebranding process for you. Because, quite honestly, what you did on this level is exactly what large corporations do.
Mhm.
All over the world when they're going through a rebranding process. So what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so I think that, it's great to start with a concept and have an idea that you're going to do something, but then to really kind of flesh it out is a whole nother animal in and of itself. And so for me, it was all about like, oh, I'm the dream design coach. And, I know what that means. But the burden was to try to explain to the world what that was. And it kind of started with a very long elevator speech of, people think they know what they want. They don't know what they want. And, practicing that over and over on Clubhouse. In Instagram, all these different places where I would do my like mini pitch, I realized that there was a lot kind of left to be desired. So I started to really experiment with what it was I was trying to say and really tap into the transformation that I felt like my clients needed to have. And once you tap into the transformation, especially the tangible outcomes, that's where the magic really happens. Because when you can convey to someone, hey, work with me and this will happen, and you will be able to tell because you'll see this tangible outcome, it's really a game changer. It's really a game changer because it shows that person the before and after of working with you. So once that started to happen, because I don't know if I said this before, but I am claircognizant, which means I get messages that are downloaded directly from source, which sounds a lot more woo than it is. But just picture like all of a sudden like a little ding in your head and you have a knowing that you didn't have before, right? Like it's not like angels come down or anything. It's just like, ping, this is true. And you're like, oh, okay. And then a couple days later, you'll read it somewhere and be like, interesting. So that was happening to me a lot. And what I found was that I really needed to tap into that in terms of the product that I was creating and the trajectory that I was taking clients on, right? So it wasn't just about you don't know what you want. It was more about go back before that and say, hey, by the way, you're able to create what you want, because that was missing. And even before that, if you don't create, you're missing a crucial step. So learning like, hey, hi, I'm AmyLee, instead of, hi, I'm AmyLee and I'm the dream design coach and you don't know what you want, it's, hey, so how's it going? What are some things, and kind of just really taking them on that journey. And so understanding those other pieces that were missing from that journey really helped me a lot. The other thing that helped was really tapping into my divine feminine energy. And I don't mean that from a, I don't know, patriarchal, woman belongs in kitchen. What I mean by that is that really tapping into that divine feminine, which in the divine feminine, it's all about surrender. It's all about surrendering to the power of the universe, right? So I know I design and the universe manifests. Now, the way that we have it in our patriarchal society is that everybody needs to manifest, but that's not how the feminine energy works. The feminine energy is all about creating from within and then letting something else do the manifesting, right? It's like ordering from a catalog. You don't make the clothes. You don't go and say, oh, I'm going to make, this shirt and this pants. You say, okay, hold on. What do we want it to look like? What are the silhouettes going to look like? What are the color schemes? So that's kind of what I had to go back and do with my brand. I was like, goodness, I haven't created any of this. So I went back and really thought, okay, what does this look like? No, stop moving away. Think about it. Think about what does this look like? And then before I knew it, I had turned around and someone, my incredible web designer, had manifested my dream brand. And so you guys will get to see that very soon. I know you've seen sneak peeks and it takes my breath away.
Yeah, no, it really does. And the thing that I love most about your new brand is, and we'll put links into the notes for those of you who might be listening on the replay or a later time when that's launched. What I love about your brand in particular is it's truly reflective of what it's like to work with you. And what I tell people all the time, whether it's whether it's a client or someone I'm just giving advice to, your brand is your promise. And your promise has a look and feel, and it has texture, and it has emotion. And when you see AmyLee's new branding, you are just going to, that is truly like a case study. Like when I give presentations at, to PR classes or in any type of workshop, I'm going to start using your examples of what texture looks like, because people find it difficult to understand how that really manifests in a branding exercise. So kudos to you for that. Talk to us a little bit about how that rebranding and I would say kind of connectedness got you to this next project that you're working on, because that's what I'm most excited about talking about.
Yeah, so this little book kind of popped out of me on a Tuesday night, because remember those downloads, right? So I was just sitting there and I was like, I just had an idea for a story. I ran over to my computer. It took me, I'm not going to make any friends saying this, but it probably took me about 25 minutes to write the whole thing. I just wrote it out in sentences in a Google Doc, and it just kind of sent it around to a couple folks, my friend Sheila, to my life coach and things like that. And I shared it with some folks and they're like, this is really good. And my husband really enjoyed it too. And then I just kind of sat on it. Didn't really know what to do with it at that point. Didn't really have any ideas. And then one day I just decided that I really wanted to take it to the next level. So I started looking for illustrators. I had a niece that illustrated. And so I reached out to her and, she was kind of back and forth about it. And then I happened to be on Facebook, and a girl that I went to high school with, one of my friends from high school, she's like, oh, I just started a publishing company and I'm looking for submissions. I was like, well, I wrote a children's book. She's like, oh, we do children's books. Send me the manuscript. So I didn't have a manuscript. I had a Google Doc with 30 sentences, but I sent it to her and she wrote back to me. She's like, yeah, I want to publish this. Let me get you a contract. Like, if you want to do it. And I think I came to you and I was like, which contract do I do? Oh my goodness, this is so crazy. And she hooked me up with a great illustrator who is absolutely so talented. And and then, a couple months later, she's like, okay, your book is ready to preview. I sent it to you and it came, and my husband took a video because husbands do that. And I was just bawling. I mean, I talk about creation versus manifestation. holding that book in my hand for the first time was, and I don't mean to be dramatic, but it was right up there with holding my children. I'm sorry. It just was.
I
It was,
get it. I get it because you had the story and it came from you. And it came from your experiences, it came from your imagination, it came from all parts of you. And that's what really being an author is. And as a visibility strategist, our role is to find that in people and then help share it and amplify it. And I'm just so excited that you are here to be able to talk to us. Do you happen to have a copy of the book that we might could see?
yes, I have it right here. So it's called The Colors Inside of Me.
Yes, it's gorgeous. And so it's a hardback.
Yes, it is a hardback. I don't know if we'll ever do it in paperback. I'm not really sure. I really wanted to start with hardback. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. It's, lots of rainbow colors, which is something I really wanted. There's a little bit of science in there. I'm going to be, because I'm a certified teacher. I'm going to be putting together a lesson plan for this, so teachers can use it for
Teacher friends, listen to AmyLee. Listen to what AmyLee just said, teacher friends. She's going to come up with a lesson plan for you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really great themes in here. And one of them that I really wanted to point out, because, the story is about a panda who feels like he's too black and white. He doesn't really have anything great about him. And so the story kind of goes through, all of the different colors that are inside of him. So there's the sciencey part, like the prism, and then going through all the different colors that make up who he is. And so at the end of it, he kind of gets a better understanding kind of what it looks like to have the colors inside of you. And there's even a little bit of metaphysics in there. You've got the chakras represented. So, you've got that. And then the big reveal, which was actually the first part that came to me in my vision, is that big old rainbow.
Love it.
But yeah, it's really great. And it'll be really great for schools, especially kindergarten and preschool, where kids are starting to get that understanding. Especially, I think it'll be really powerful for communities where people feel marginalized, some of the indigenous and POC and some of those people. I think that this will be a really great tool for their kiddos too, to kind of show that like the inside of us has a lot more to do with who we are and our character. And the outside of us is kind of just like a shell, right? Like it's a covering. And so that was really kind of my message. And I hope that this book ends up being part of curriculums and helps kids feel a lot better about who they are and what they're truly, truly made of.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And that is a powerful, powerful message. I'm just so excited. What are you going to be doing to launch? When does it launch? Because I know that's a lot going on. And then after that, I want to ask you about how people can work with you. Because I know people are like, wow, she does all that and she wrote a children's book. I'm intrigued, but I want to go back to how I work with her. So before we go to there, because I know that's what people are waiting for, how are you planning on launching the book? I know that you've got great intuition and you've got a great support team. And for those people who are thinking about writing a book, but get overwhelmed with the process, you've made it obvious that there's a way to do it. But what's next? The marketing part.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have this really amazing visibility strategist that I hired. I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name's Veronica Garcia-Sofer. She's really phenomenal. And so I've hired her onto the team. I also have an incredible integrator on my team named Sheena, who is watching right now. So hello, Sheena. And she's going to help with a lot of that and kind of take some direction from Veronica as well. So between the three of us, I think that we're going to be able to really, rock this publicity. That being said, the book is in pre-sale right now, so you can pre-order your copy. But it comes out on August 3rd, which will forever be etched in my memory. And you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Barnes & Noble. We're actually going to drop the link to my personal business page where you can kind of read a little bit more about the book. And if you are interested in getting a signed copy, for now, we're kind of doing it in like sort of a janky way. But if you're interested in that, contact Veronica. And then what I can do is I can sign a copy and then I can just bill you myself and send it to you. So if you're interested in that, let me know.
That's awesome. So it's back to school time, folks. I know people are getting ready. For those of you that have teacher friends, especially at this age level, and they're building their library for their classrooms, this is a great way to get some phenomenal talent and just truly, truly a story that resonates with kids. When I read it, I knew it was going to be a bestseller. So I'm just super excited that we are going to work on this project. And I know I've already placed an order for a couple because all of my little cousins and goddaughters are going to be getting a copy. So we're excited about that. So congratulations on the book, AmyLee. So let's circle back to your your 9 to 5, if you will, or in your case, 24/7, because I know it's all it's a huge part of who you are in your life. How do people work with you, and what does that look like?
Oh, there's so many different ways to work with me. So I think the easiest thing to do is just kind of get a feel for my mouthfeel, so to speak. And you can go to Dream Building Entrepreneurs on Facebook. You're probably already on Facebook because we're on Facebook now. And so I have a group. You can certainly join that. My website is about to be launched again. We just redid it. So you can probably, if you go to that Panda link, it probably lets you get back to the main page, but I don't actually know the link for that yet, but you can go there. So kind of just like reverse yourself through the website. But I have lots of different programs. I have programs for building Facebook groups because that's something that I've always been very lucky at doing. I have a program for finding out, kind of creating your dream life from the ground up. I also have programs about manifestation and personal power. And I actually just launched, it's in its second beta round. I launched a goddess activation program that's there to help you tap into your own divine feminine and really kind of bring out the essence of your highest self and how it can show up in the world. So I've been doing that as well. Oh, and sorry, I forgot about this one. This is like the most important one. I have a Script Your Dreams into Life masterclass that's next Friday. So this probably will be over by the time this airs. But if you're interested in that, contact Veronica. She'll get a hold of me.
Yeah, great. And folks, if you are also interested in courses, all of her resources are available on her website, and you can truly check them out. That's how I got connected to AmyLee. Full disclosure, she had some great programming that I thought was a good fit for what I was up to, and I have now been connected to Amazing Tribe because of it. And my growth, both professionally and personally, has been phenomenal thanks to this woman. So kudos to AmyLee, and I'm just so excited about the book. I just had to have you on because we can't talk enough about it. So I can't wait for the launch.
I know. I'm so excited. And guys, seriously, I mean, I wanted to write a book that was for everybody. So I don't think there's a person alive that won't get something out of this. And yeah.
Awesome. All right. So much. And I will be sure to put the information on that in the notes. So thank you, AmyLee, for joining us on this episode of Saturday Soundbites. It was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. So guys, I'm going to leave that little picture up there, that little picture right there, because I want that to be emblazoned in your brain. That is the cover of the next children's best-selling book that you are going to purchase. And I'll put all the details on all my social assets as well. If you are listening on our podcast and you can't see it, no worries. The link will be in the show notes. So be sure to check it out because we're just so excited to be celebrating how someone who has a model of business was able to grow into a different model of business. And I just know that it takes a lot to make that transition. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. So whether you're working on your advertising, your marketing, your branding, your networking, all the things that make up your visibility strategy, there are resources out there. And when you are connected to talent, it just makes it so much more fun. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Saturday Soundbites. It was great to spend the Saturday with you, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm sending you lots of positive energy and light. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.